Well, good morning, my friend, and welcome to the Pastors Podcast. Good to have you along with me this morning as we continue this week, and of course, I'm looking forward to seeing what God's going to do here, and as we move forward to the for the Lord here today, Tuesday, and January the 14th, and I'm hoping that you've had a good start to your week, had a good night out, following up on visitors and getting people recommitted to come visit, first-time visitors, committing to come again on this coming Sunday. And we always do that here on Monday nights. You say, why Monday night? Because it's fresh. And if you've had a good day on Sunday, I just feel like it's a great time to follow up while it's fresh on their mind, get them recommitted to come next week. And we've been successful in that area. I know other churches do it at other times. I just found that Monday night is really a good time, and I'd encourage you to think about it and see what God can do for you by following up on your visitors. Of course, now you got to have visitors every Sunday for that to happen, and I would encourage you to do that. Well, today let's look at the scriptures from Mark chapter 8, verse 4. I want to talk to you about the faith of miracles. The scripture says, "And his disciples answered him, 'From whence can a man satisfy these men with bread here in the wilderness?'" 4,000 people were present at this service that Jesus preached at, but there was no food to feed this great crowd. The only food they had was 7 loaves of bread and a few small fish. Now, this situation was dire. There's no question about it. It was a dire situation. There seemed to be no way to feed this large crowd. But whenever there is an impossible situation, I love this phrase, there's always a miraculous God who can turn the impossible into possible. Jesus told the disciples, he said to have the people sit down on the ground, and after giving thanks, he then commanded them to give out of the bread that they had. Now, I want you to notice, they didn't have enough, but he says, give out what you have. As they gave out the bread that they had, they never ran out of bread, because Jesus multiplied the bread because of the faith of the disciples to hand out what they had. Now, in this miracle, you see several things that it takes for God to take your faith to perform the miraculous. First, it takes an impossible situation for God to do the miraculous. There is no miracle without the impossible. Now, we want to see the miraculous, but we can't stomach the impossible. My friend, you'll never see God do the miraculous in your life if you live on the easy street of only doing what you can do. Those who have seen the miraculous are those who have faced the impossible. When you see that impossible come, what do I do? Okay, now we got faith now. Second, it takes you realizing your inability to meet the need of what must take place. So until you reach the end of your abilities and admit it, you'll never see God step in and do the miraculous. God never performs the miraculous for those who still think they can do it. Something when you get to that point that you realize, I can't, this is impossible. I can't make this happen. I've got to have God. Now, that's what God desires, because he desires to get all the glory. And it's not until you see your inability and need his power that he steps in to help you with your impossible situation. Third, it takes organization for God to do the miraculous. So God told the disciples, he says, now have the people sit down. And and then they just sat down in groups, in which was Jesus showing the need for organization. And certainly God can perform the miraculous through the unorganized. But can I tell you, the miracles will be limited, because disorganization always limits God's power. The miraculous the miracle always does more through the organized. You, don't limit the miracles of God because of your disorganization. Learn how to be organized, so that when God chooses to do the miraculous, you'll see the full miracle that God intended. Fourth, it takes faith that God can do, get this now, what he says he will do for the miraculous to happen. Now, you will only see the miraculous to the degree of the faith you act on. Now, God is a reactive God, and he shows his power to the degree of faith that we having his abilities. So get this, the more faith you act on, the greater the miracle that God will do through you. So the only reason anyone does not see great miracles today is because they've limited God's power by their faithlessness. Fifth, it takes you going as far as you can with what you have for God to do the miraculous. Now, here's the key: the disciples gave out what they had, they didn't have anything else. They just started giving out what they had, and God always provided more. That reminds me of the widow woman. She took out of the barrel all that she had, and God always provides more. The key to God showing His power is for you to go as far with what you have and see God step in to take you further. Too many people don't want to go that far. I was talking to someone this weekend. They're struggling in this area of tithing. They said, "But I don't have it." I said, "But you give tithe, and God will take care of you." You see, you got to give what you have. It was that one woman; she gave what she had. God blessed her. God, you will never give more to God than what He won't return it in, and He won't return it manifold more. You've got to, at some point, you must step out by faith. Go as far as you can with what you have, and let God show you that He will be there to give you more when you come to the end of your ability. So, my question to you today is this: are you giving of what you have? Are you going as far? You say, "I don't have much." Okay, so you go as far as what you can go. That's what I always tell people: go as far as what you can go. And then when you go that far, then what you do is you say, "Okay, I can only go this far. So because I can only go this far, I'm going to go. And if God doesn't show up, then God doesn't show up. But I'm going to go to as far as I can go." This is what I've always found. I've always found that when I come to what I thought was the brick wall, that brick wall's moved. God moves the wall. He moves the wall of the impossible. Understand? So I go to what I can do, and God goes more. Now, if I stop, get this now, the miracle stops. So you want God to do a miracle. Listen, part of the things that's going on here at Maranatha Baptist Church. Now, I'm going as far as I can go. Now, my vision's great. I don't know what God's going to do. I've got miracles right now. I have right here in my hand the vision for 2025. We've got several things that we're trying to do here this year in our church. I think we got a park pergola we want to put up in our courtyard, only $4,000, but I've got to have that. Office expansion. I got to expand my office. I've got people. I got 3 people in one office, and sometimes 4 sharing in offices, and I need more office space. That's $60,000. I don't know where it's going to come from. I've got to have a parking lot resurfaced and a new parking lot made so we can have more parking. That's $65,000. I don't know where that's going to come from. I have a balcony. I've got to finish doing some steps in our balcony. That's $7,000. I don't know where that's going to come from. I've got a fence on the north side of our property we need to redo. It's $2,000. I don't know where that's going to come from. Get this now. I don't know where it's going to come from, but I tell you what I do is I go as far as I can. And then when I hit that brick wall, I've always found God always takes us to that point, and then He says, "Okay, here it is. Now let's go further." So I don't know where these will come from. But I do know this. I know we're running our buses. I know we're going to pick up people. I know we're going to bring people to church. I know we're going to see people saved. I know we're going to get people baptized. I'm trying to do what I can do. I go as far as I can. And by faith, I trust God. My friend, that's the key. That's the key. You go as far as you can. We're getting a Bible college started this fall, opening up the Bible college this fall, and want to train young men and ladies for the ministry to get out there and go worldwide to bring the gospel. Now we're going to start that. You say, how? I don't know. Where's the money going to come from? I don't know. But I know this: God's a God who can do everything. So I challenge you. Hey, don't make your faith small. Stop licking your tongue and putting your finger to the air and saying, "Well, I'll go as far as this is. Why don't you do this?" Why don't you just say, "You know what I am going to do? I'm going to go as far as I can go. I'm going to give what I can give." Listen to me, and I've always found this: God always blesses in return. I challenge you today. I challenge you. Go as far as you can. Give what you have and watch God always multiply it, where the thousands of people will be saved because of us giving what we have. For the little that we have, we give it to God. He does the rest. Well, my friend, I hope this is a great challenge to you today. Now, let's remember today, hey, be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time.